Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Sean, it is NFL Week 15. Right?
You broke out up there.
I said it is Week 15, I hope.
Yeah, that's what you have down there.
Yes,
it definitely is.
It's Week 15. So let me ask you a question. What's the line on a game being canceled?
Ooh. They don't take bets on that yet.
I'm sure they do somewhere.
Yeah.
We can make one right here. What's the line on a game being canceled?
I don't think they're going to be canceled. They'll make them up one way or the other this week.
Well, they've moved one to Monday and two to Tuesday.
Two to Tuesday, yes. So that means we have, with the one game tomorrow night, it means four
Monday,
straight nights.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Got plenty to talk about on Monday and Tuesday then, along with maybe some college football, college basketball.
Yeah, unfortunate circumstances with the whole COVID thing, but, makes for good TV having football on 4 nights. So.
Yes, indeed. It will make for good. It's going to go into the holiday week too, right? So it's going to carry us right into the Christmas week. So it means to celebrate. Hopefully it means by which to make a few more bucks to pay for all those gifts that kids are going to unwrap, and all that paper you're going to spend all that money on that you're just going to crumble up at 12:01 and throw away. Might as well just be dollar bills, Sean. Just tape them together, put them on top of the box.
Yeah, well, that's what I always say about cards too. They're the same thing. You spend $5-6 for a card, and you might as well just give that person the money.
Might as well. I mean, just give them $5. I'm sure they'll be thankful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Or maybe what you should do is you should wrap the other money inside the $5 bill.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
That would work, right? I would think. So let's see if we can wrap some money, Sean, into the this week. Before we get rolling on that, any injuries of notes?
Oh, there's a ton. So,
of course, a lot of COVID guys. But do we count those as injuries, or what do we count those as?
I don't know, but then that's the issue too. This could change, So tomorrow night's game, New England, Indianapolis, you got Damian Harris out, so that's a big one for New England.
He's hurt. He's not COVIDed.
No, not COVID. No, just hamstring. So that's a big one. You got Dallas, Tyrone Smith, offensive tackles out. So Prescott's without both of his tackles. Tony Pollard's questionable again. That's another one. Jets, Dolphins, not really much. Eagles game was moved. Buffalo, Emmanuel Sanders is out.
Right, he's been out for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but he's out.
He's been on the field, but has he really been a factor?
Not lately. He wasn't
at all. He had one game, and everybody rushed out to pick him up. Emmanuel Sanders, and then the next thing you know, he's become. Well, he's just disappeared. He's a ghost. 49ers,
Elijah Mitchell is out.
You know what he wears the number 1 for, right? That's how many catches he gets per game.
Wow, somebody's not an Emmanuel Sanders fan at all.
Well, not anymore.
Green Bay, you got a couple. You got Scantlin, questionable again, the receiver. He's been questionable like every week. And then the Ravens, Lamar Jackson's questionable. They say they're going to wait till Sunday.
He's going to play, though.
So they're going to wait till Sunday to review. That's going to be one of those game time decisions. I would wait on any bets on that. And then the Buccaneers got a couple. Sherman's doubtful, and Leonard Fournette's questionable too, which big one for
Sherman,
them.
what does he do? He can't cover nobody no more.
And then Sean Payton's out too, head coach.
I mean, if it's not a door, we'll leave it go.
Yeah, well, Fournette's the big one there because he's had a great year. So
yeah, he's had a very good year. He's taken hold of that position.
He's come back
run with it.
Yeah, he's a guy who started off his career with great promise, and then kind of just looked like an old man out there. Now
well, he was. I mean, he's one of those guys that's got a fake ID for his age, Sean. There's no question.
Yeah,
he's not. What's his name? Got kicked off the. Hasn't yet. Antonio Brown for the fake COVID card. I'm certain that Leonard Fournette has a fake ID for his age. He's like that guy who played baseball in the Little League World Series, Danny Almeida, I think his name was. Who got the idea to say he was younger than he is. That's Fournette.
And
Fournette and LeBron James. They're both like 60 years old, but pretending they're 35.
That was like the first time you really heard about that, but then he wasn't the only one that ever did that.
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't the only one that ever did that. I'm sure it was pretty commonplace. I mean, you got what, 13-year-old kids throwing 95 miles an hour? Yeah, right.
Yeah, another one, Hopkins out for most rest of the regular season. Yeah, hopefully back for the postseason.
If you're an Arizona fan, if you're going for somebody other than Arizona, hopefully not.
Yeah. James Conner's questionable again. I think he's another one that seems to be
Well, I think he can't make it through a whole year without getting hurt.
Yeah.
And they say he bulked up too.
Yeah, he looks totally different in that Cardinals uniform than he did with Pittsburgh.
Maybe red makes you look more muscular. Well, I guess black takes off a few pounds, right?
Well, it is funny that players look different in different uniforms. Like they look like a total.
I'm sure Ben would be big no matter what he wore.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, you could put Ben. What color is slim? Well, he's already in black, so they say black slims it down. So put him in a white uniform.
You don't want to put him in any other color then.
Yeah, you put him in a white uniform, the Ghostbusters will come looking for him.
Look like Jarrett Lorenzen used to with the white with Kentucky.
I don't know who that is.
You
mean the
big
fat lefty?
Yeah.
What would they call him? The lumpy lefty? I don't know what his name was.
Oh, I forget.
The hefty lefty. There you go.
I think. Yep.
What's up, Drew? All new pick there, looking good.
That's
a little bit.
That's his YouTube pick. He's got a YouTube pick and he's got a Facebook pick.
You're stalking, Sean? You're social stalking?
No, you can see the YouTube thing.
Anything else?
No, that's what I got for
now.
Yeah, that's what I got for now. This is, subject to change, especially on a Friday night, and now with COVID, man, it's
with all these COVID and people.
The Browns, for example, the Browns Raiders line. What was it? 3.5, 4 points.
Well, I was going to go into these things, Sean, real quick.
Yeah,
Tennessee and Pittsburgh opened up at Pittsburgh plus 2.5. Now Pittsburgh's -1, but why?
I guess people like Pittsburgh.
I guess they do. They're betting on the Steelers. I don't know what's wrong with them. Maybe because they don't want to see Ben in a white uniform. I don't know. Then you have Vegas and Cleveland. Cleveland opened up as a 6.5 point favorite. Now they're only down to 1.5. So if you feel like they're going to be healthy and the kids are going to pass the COVID protocol, then maybe you take Cleveland, right?
And that was just Vegas was when the whole thing was going on and they thought they were playing tomorrow. Vegas was like a 3.5, 4 point favorite because they didn't think the Browns had many players. So it's just been going all over the place.
Well, Drew says he hasn't placed a bet. Well, the only thing I've been winning on is in the NFL. Although last week I went 2-2, but it's the only thing I've been hitting on. That's why I've been kind of quiet on the regular. Plus, I've been working on the horse racing stuff pretty heavily for horseracingtoday.net. But I'll be back to Moneyline Madmen as we move into the new year. We'll be going to focusing a lot on that. So Minnesota is another one, Sean. They opened up as a 3.5 point favorite. That line's moved all the way up to 6 versus the Bears. That's on Monday night, though, unless it gets moved to Tuesday night because Chicago is, I guess, one of the cities that's getting hit the hardest by Omicron. But hopefully it doesn't make it into my household. Washington was a 3.5 point underdog. That line's moved all the way to 8. Do they got a lot of players ill, or what the hell's going on with them?
Well, yeah, they do. That's why that game got moved to Tuesday as well.
To Tuesday. Who's playing on?
And Heineke was out with COVID, and so
I wish that would have happened last week. No offense, Tyler. Might have saved my fantasy season.
And Allen as well. So that's why that line's like that. Now, with the game being moved to Tuesday, I don't know if that gives them a shot to play or not.
I don't know that it makes a difference. Did you see Heineke last week?
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. It was more like Heine. That's what it was more like. It smelled like, I'll tell you that, because that guy was 2 for 15 at one time, and they did have a touchdown, and it was to the other team, and it was a fumble that they had picked up and ran in. And he had a pick. So he had negative fantasy points after halftime. You know how hard that is for a fantasy football quarterback?
He was really relying on Logan Thomas, and with him being out, he just looked completely lost.
I don't give a.
I know.
I don't give a boop who he was relying. An NFL quarterback that's 2 for 15.
I know.
I mean, that's like these NBA teams that score like 12 points in a quarter. What the heck? Come on, dude. Really? I mean, really?
Well, we talk about this all the time too. Players like he looks really good, and then he starts to show his true colors. Then you realize
he's a driving range quarterback. Looks good on the driving range. Then when you get him on the course, doesn't look so good no more. Right? On the driving range, every ball straight, looks like it's on target. Get him out there, and the guy's hacking all over the place. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's look at the smart money, Sean. Patriots. They got 50%, 57% of the tickets, Sean. But the Colts, those Carson Wentz-led Indianapolis Colts, they're taking 72 cents on the dollar, bro. So it looks like the smart money's back in the Colts. Looks like the getting rid of – now, is Urban Meyer sick, or did he just get beep canned?
He got beep canned.
But if you look at that game, most of the people bet on the Texans, Sean. But 2/3 of the money is on the Jags. I guess getting rid of Urban Meyer makes you a favorite in the NFL. Cincinnati, most of the tickets, 3/4 of the tickets, as a matter of fact, Sean. I'm going to bet one of your tickets is on Cincinnati too. But someone who doesn't jump off the bandwagon like me, 64% of the money is on the Broncos. This is an interesting one to me too. The Saints are taking in 60% of the tickets, but the Bucks are getting 67 cents on the dollar. And that Washington-Philly game, despite everybody being sick, is 50-50 on the terms of the tickets, but 82% of the 82 cents on the dollar is on the Eagles. The EAGLES suck. Anyway. Wonder if the Patriots D can slow down Jonathan Taylor. Can anybody slow down Jonathan Taylor?
No, it doesn't seem like it.
No, it's not possible.
And when we get into that game, neither run defense is all that great, and that's what the opposing offense wants to do. So
run. Maybe Rashad, whatever his name, Stevenson, is a good fantasy play, right?
Yeah, I would say he is.
Yeah, because without the he actually can catch, unlike Damian Harris. I'm sure Damian Harris can catch, right?
He's caught a lot better this year than he has in the past, so they're definitely making him into a better. It's funny when you're at a team like New England, they just force you to do things that you might have not done before, and then you become better at it. So
maybe I should force you to be making winning picks, Sean. Myself, maybe you, the other way around. Maybe you should force me to make good picks. Then we might get better at it.
Yeah.
All right. So first game on the board for this weekend is, as you mentioned, is Saturday night. I'll be feeling all right, in the words of, I don't drink anymore, but if I did drink, I'd be like Elton John, and I would have a belly full of beer and then go out and get in fights. But instead, I'll be betting on the New England Indianapolis game, and I will be probably fighting with my computer, angry texting Sean when the Colts have the lead and they give it up with 10 seconds left, and the game covers the other way, and I lose, because that's the way I lose all my bets.
So you're showing your hand and you're going with the Colts?
No, I'm not going with the Colts.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing yet, because I forgot to open up my Excel sheets, because I have this new computer, Sean, because the other one was about to crash on me, and I've totally haven't figured out how to use the damn thing yet.
Okay, so I kind of got into it. Both of these defenses, they're middle of the pack stopping the run, and both offenses really want to run the ball. So without Harris for New England, this game comes down to who can run the ball better. And it also comes down to, we talk about this every time with Indianapolis, is Wentz going to turn the ball over?
Well, the answer to that question.
Yeah. So the thing is, you would think I'm taking New England here because you think you know me, but I'm actually going to take Indianapolis. Giving up the 2. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to run all over New England, and I think that's.
But do you really think that's what they're going to do? So you don't think that Bill Belichick, widely regarded as one of the best coaches in the history of NFL, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, you think he's going to go, you know what? I have this grand idea. I'm going to let Jonathan Taylor beat us, see if he can beat us, and I'm going to stop Carson Wentz. You really think that's what they're going to do coming into this game?
I completely understand what you're saying, but Indy does have enough weapons, and Wentz can get to him. I think they could take advantage of it the other way. It's just Wentz holding on to the ball.
Who's fast on the Patriots?
There's a bunch of fat, but I'm telling you, I
think fast on the Patriots. Who's like genuinely a deep threat on the Patriots?
Nelson Aguilar. He's their deep threat.
Dude, you need your own Comedy Central show with Dave Chappelle. Nelson Aguilar, dude. Now I've heard it all. I mean,
he is one of the quickest guys in the NFL. You just got to catch the ball.
Okay. All right. So I would take that with a lot of confidence now. Nelson Aguilar is the person he points. Okay. Anyway.
So I'm taking Indy giving up the point.
When I first looked at this game, I thought, wow, I'm going to take Indianapolis 2.5 points. I figured, hey, then I went through my numbers, Sean. You know what? I'm going to take the other side of this game. I'm getting the better team, and I'm getting points. Unquestionably, New England. If you think about these two teams, what is their composition? What is their personality? New England's a defensive oriented team, going to control the clock. The Colts, they want to do the same damn thing. One's got a really good coach. One's got an okay coach. I feel like the Patriots are the better team, and it says this is the take for me. So, and by a big enough margin that I'm going to take New England. I'm going to take the points, and we're going to find out if I think New England has a 50-50 chance, if not better, to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough game. I really think Damian Harris, though. I do like this kid Stevenson, but I think having both of them would have been, what they need.
But I think the offense is a little bit better under Stevenson because he can catch. So when Damian's in the game, basically they're going to run.
I agree with that, but I think the two-headed monster would be a lot better in this situation here. And the fact that New England isn't a great run defense, I think Indy, they're going to force their hand. Right. Belichick's going to try to stop Jonathan Taylor, but if
he's going to stop Jonathan Taylor, Sean,
forces the hand,
he's going to stop. If the Colts win, it's not going to be because Jonathan Taylor went for 170 yards and like 3 touchdowns. It's not. It'll be because Carson Wentz played exceptionally well, and they had to actually respect the pass, and that opened up running lanes.
Yeah, and I think Wentz can do that, and I think Indy has enough weapons to the outside to do that. The issue is he just cannot fumble and throw an interception. If he does that, then they're in trouble.
You're really going to bet that he's not going to turn the ball over?
I'm betting on that. Yes, I know. That was the only
From Nelson Aguilar to Carson Wentz is not going to turn the ball over. The hits just – I'm not kidding. You need to show it, Dave Chappelle. Bro. I'm going to send a note.
Are you saying Nelson Aguilar isn't – are you saying Nelson Aguilar is not fast?
Come on, man. If there's a single defense in the NFL that's worried about Nelson Aguilar, I'd like to know who that defensive coordinator is because he should be canned.
Well, they were. When he was in Oakland, they were worried about him, but – in Philly and New England, he can't catch the ball.
Oh, my Lord. I don't think anybody's ever been worried about Nelson Aguilar. Even the slow, fat defensive back wasn't worried about him. All right, so you like the Colts. I like the Patriots. So we're on opposite sides of that game, Sean. The total in this game is 45.5. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's set right. I avoided this one. I could see it going either way. They both want to run, so I would lean towards the under. Yeah, I would lean towards the under with the running, but then I think they both they do it successful, so they're going to move up.
I think Carson Wentz is going to give at least one defensive touchdown to New England. So I have the game going over by a half a point. 46 points total, Sean.
That'll be the last time I play Carson Wentz if that happens again.
Yeah, you'll probably be the last time. Carolina and Buffalo, Sean. This is a pretty big line. The Bills, who can't beat anybody anymore, they're a 12-point favorite. They can hardly score 12 points.
Yeah, well, Carolina's not stopping people lately. They're not doing anything offensively. Newton shows up for maybe 1-2 drives, says he's back, like you say, and then he's back to the bench as well. So
he's back to turning the ball over.
Yeah, and then back to the bench. So Buffalo's going to win this game. They're probably going to cover the spread, but the way they're playing right now, I had to pass.
I have Buffalo winning by 10, Sean. That's not enough. The 2 points is not enough for me to take Carolina because if I have an NFL team winning by 10, it's just as easy as for them to win by 14, right? That's turning one field goal into a touchdown, and that if that field goal turns into a pass interference at the 1-yard line and turns into a touchdown instead of a field goal, you've just taken that Buffalo Bills winner to a Buffalo Bills loser if you're on Carolina. So I'm not going to take that game either because it's not a big enough point spread for. I mean, it's too big. It's just too big. As far as the total is concerned in that game, Sean, the total is 41. No, I'm looking at the wrong game. 44.5. That's because I'm on game 2. I forgot they started on Saturday.
Again, I just don't see a lot with Carolina getting points. I probably lean the under here, but I'm not going to take it. I just don't see Carolina scoring much against Buffalo. And Buffalo, it depends what offense is going to show up. They can score 40, and then there's other times they just play close to the best and score 10-14.
Yeah, so I think I'm going very slightly under. I have them coming in at 42. So a little bit on the underside. Actually, this week, a lot of my totals are pretty close to what the folks in Vegas have, off by a couple of points here or there. So there's really not a lot for me in terms of total plays, which is kind of interesting because usually I have a few more total plays. So I have to go dig a little bit deeper week in and week out in that respect. But not this week. There's not that many in there for me. The Jets versus Miami, your Jets, Sean. Are you going to be on them? 9.5 points against an offense that doesn't score either.
So here's the thing. Miami likes to force the other team into mistakes, and that's how they take advantage and score the points. What do the Jets do a lot of with the rookie quarterback? They make mistakes.
Actually, though, he's gotten much better, Sean, of late.
He has.
I don't think he turned the ball over last week or the week, maybe the week before that he had one interception, but it seems to me, if there is such a thing, it seems to me Zach Wilson's starting to get it.
A little bit, but they're down.
Okay,
more.
like 3 weeks ago, Sean, 4 weeks ago, you were all over Mike White. He was the next whatever is great.
I was hoping he was. I didn't say he was. I was hoping.
And I told you at that time he's gonna be terrible. And how many interceptions did he throw?
Too many. Way too many.
4.
Way too
4. Many. I'm telling you, Zach Wilson's getting it, Sean.
I hope so.
I can see he's getting it. He's not making the same mistakes. He's learned from what he did wrong.
But with the offensive line banged up and everything, I just don't think he's going to have a lot of time to throw. I don't think he's going to have much success against Miami here. I'm going to break a rule. I think I said I was going to leave all the Jets games go. I'm going to give up the 9.5 and take Miami.
Are you insane?
Telling you exactly. And Jets have not been playing well against Miami. Yeah,
I'm not going to take the Jets, but I got the Jets covering this game by 2 points. I have the Dolphins winning by a touchdown, Sean, and I think that's about right. The Dolphins by 7, but they could win by more than that. The key is going to be, do they get a defensive turnover deep in the Jets territory and convert that maybe even to a pick six or a fumble, return for a sack, fumble, touchdown, which is great for fantasy football.
Yeah.
The total in this game, Sean, is on this tab, and that's the one that's 41, Sean.
Yeah, and this one's hard again. I'd probably lean the over just because, because of the turnovers. I think the Jets aren't going to turn the ball over. Miami's going to score there, and I don't think the Jets are going to have too much success with Miami. They're going to, not one strike score touchdowns, but I think Miami's going to move the ball.
Not with Tua.
No, but Miami's going to move the ball.
Think about them. Who's their offensive threat?
Waddle.
He's his top guy. Waddle's not fast.
No, he's not fast.
Not by NFL standard. The guy's like a 7-yard per catch guy.
He's their top offensive guy and that tight end.
Right. So, they're a possession team. So they're going to eat up the clock too. But I do have the game going to 45 points. So I do have, the Dolphins in this particular scenario covering, but the one I use for the lines, the power rankings, has the Jets covering in the game, Dolphins winning by 7. Next game on the docket, Sean, is the Dallas Cowboys. This got moved around versus the New York Football Giants. Right? Is that game did that game get moved to Sunday? Or did I just forget to put it in my system? Anyway, the line in this game, Sean, for the Giants and the Cowboys is Cowboys are between a 10.5 and an 11-point favorite.
Yeah, and it looks like Mike Glennon again. Dallas
does that really matter? Have the Giants?
No.
So let's see. With Daniel Jones, they scored 10 points a game. With Mike Glennon, they score 10 points a game. What's the difference?
Yeah. I'm going to stay away from it, but I would lean Dallas. Dallas is definitely going to win the game. I just giving up 11 points
about that. They've really struggled in games where Tyron Smith's not there.
Yeah, I know.
You remember that game against Atlanta where some dude got a new contract with another team because he sacked Dak like 7 times, then went to another team and never sacked anybody ever again. Yeah,
and I think Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's won 5 or 6 straight against the Giants, something like that. I heard last week. Mm-hmm. So they've been owning them.
They're going to win.
I think they win. I just too many points on the road in a division game.
This is another game that I think I think the Giants lose between 7 and 10 points. So I think the Cowboys win and the Giants cover, which I'm not a really big fan of. Team A wins, Team B covers. As you know, at least I've read. I don't know how accurate this is, Sean, but I've read that 80% of the time the team that wins also covers.
Cool.
So I don't like being on the 20 side. I'd rather be on the 80 side. It's just math. The total in this game, Sean, is 44. That seems like about a right number. The Cowboys can score 41 and the Giants kick a field goal.
Yeah, and Giants might do what they did last week, score 2 touchdowns at the end of the game, the last 5 minutes of the game after it's out of control. So Again,
Just as long as it's Saquon Barkley, because he's on my fantasy football team.
Yeah, I think the number set, I would say lean the over, but like you said, Dallas has struggled without Smith. So what if their offense falters? If their offense falters, then where are you getting the points?
Yeah, you're going to give it to the one-legged Zeke.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. If Pollard's questionable, there's their explosiveness.
Yeah, but the whole wide receiving staff is back now. You got Amari Cooper, he's back now. CeeDee Lamb, he's back now. You got Cedric Wilson, so he's there. They don't really throw the ball much to you got Michael Gallup. So the whole offensive unit is there minus Tony Pollard. Of course, Tyrone Smith is a big deal, but I don't really know how much of a pass rush the Giants get anyway, so it may not be that big of a deal.
Yeah, so I'm just going to pass on Dallas. This should be another one. Dallas wins. I'm just unsure of the points.
I think if they win the division too, or at least they can. Worst they can do is be tied. The Tennessee Titans, we talked about this game before. It opened up one way, and now it's the other way. Now Pittsburgh is anywhere from a 1 to 1.5 point favorite at home against Tennessee, coming off a break, which seems kind of weird to me. I know that they're not healthy, but I would think some time off probably did Tennessee some good.
Yeah, didn't they come back? They came back last week, didn't they?
They were off the week. I don't remember. The way they play, I feel like they've been on a bye for a while. You're right. They did come back last week and they beat Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
And they got they made Urban Meyer so mad he kicked his field goal kicker. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's pretty funny.
You knew when that happened, that when that came out, he would be fired the next day. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, like they say.
Kicking the field goal kick. So if he had kicked somebody other than the field goal kicker, like
no, kicking anybody.
You think he picked the field goal kicker because it's like the one position on the team, maybe aside from punter, that wouldn't have beat his ass?
Well, I'm surprised he just didn't say I was showing him how to kick a field goal and accidentally kicked his leg or something like that. Maybe that would have been the strategy.
Or maybe he watched our show and we were talking about the fundraiser we're going to do where Blake gets to kick you in the Jimmy.
There you go. He was practicing.
He's practicing. He's going to sub for Blake.
Yeah. So in this game, Tennessee-Pittsburgh, I'm leaning Pittsburgh, but what I really like here is I like the total. I like the under.
Ooh,
I think the big game, both offenses aren't all that great. I think this is an old-fashioned, more 17-14, 20-14 type game.
So the total in that spot, Sean, is for Pittsburgh and the Tennessee Titans is 43. I have them coming in at 47, Sean. Wow. Bad news for you, my friend.
Yeah,
I have it going over. And I disagree with you. Tennessee is going to be one of my picks this week. And I am going to take the Tennessee Titans and I am going to take the 1.5. Although the way the line is moving, I'm almost thinking about waiting till game time because maybe I'll get some more points by then.
Maybe. But who knows? Then somebody's ruled out with COVID and it changes completely the other way.
Yeah, so that could be too, right? All right, so on the total, I have it going over. You're going to take the under in that game. Next game is the one we talked about where the coach kicks the field goal kicker and subsequently gets fired. Urban Meyer, less Jacksonville Jaguars are at home. That game, actually, since he got fired, the Jaguars went up. They became a stronger favorite. So I guess Urban Meyer really was holding them back. Houston is a 5 point to 5.5 point underdog. They got that at quarterback. What's his name? Mills?
Davis Mills, and he actually played really well last week.
He did indeed.
So
you're going to take him?
No,
you're gonna take the one. This is like the 1-800 game of the decade.
I'm
not.
Know
how those guys get on TV and they're like, "This is my lock of the decade," right? You know what I'm talking about?
That's what I would have to do to talk this game up to get people to watch this game.
Yes, but this is the 1-800 need help game of the decade. It's my one on anyway.
I'm gonna leave it go because how can you give up 5 with Jacksonville? Although I would say, you know how I say
they're going to be motivated. They're going to
just have this feeling.
If it weren't for Urban Meyer, we would have been a Super Bowl contender.
That's what they're gonna. Well, they're not. They're not going to believe that, I guess. But the thing is, if he was really this bad, to get that out of the locker room, get a new freedom and stuff, they probably are going to come out and play a really, really good game.
Yes.
But
Go out and
I'm
get
not
those
giving.
future odds next year. They're going to be absolutely Super Bowl.
I'm not giving up.
Honestly,
the
their
5 points.
defense has not been that bad this year. Their offense has really been the problem.
Yeah, I'm not giving up the 5 points. And the other thing, Davis Mills played really good last week, so that'd be the other
Means
thing.
he's due to play like crap this week.
Yeah, and like you said, Jacksonville's defense has been pretty good, but
It's not been bad. I mean, their offense has been the weakness, no question.
yeah, it's nothing great. So if Davis Mills plays like he did last week, he'll keep them within 5. So too many different signs, and 1-800 need help. I'm going to skip it. We're spending
off that game
we're
altogether.
spending too much time on this game as it is.
Even if I had to play, I would skip this game because there's no 39.5 points, Sean. They're expecting an absolute barn burner. Gonna light up that ding, 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 like a slot machine in Las Vegas. Not. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna 1-800 need help, so I'm just gonna skip it.
As bad as that low as that number is, Sean, for an NFL game, I actually have them going under by a field goal.
Oh,
That's pretty bad. So I can't play that, but I'm certainly I'm kind of in. I was amazed. I'm like, 39.5. They're going to come in around 45, 46. The game's going to be close to a take. And then it goes under. I'm like, yeah, that game's not worth watching. Arizona and Detroit, Sean. Detroit, they got to win, and then they came back and played like Detroit.
yeah. But Arizona without Hopkins, and
But they haven't had Hopkins all year. That hasn't made a difference.
I know, but
They haven't had him for the majority of the year, Sean. They played just fine without him.
There's something about Arizona sometimes you just can't trust. And giving up this many points, I just don't want to do that, especially on the road.
I think if you can get – here's the deal with Arizona. If you can get pressure on Kyle Murray, right, that's when their offense struggles. Do you feel like Detroit's going to get pressure on them?
Probably not.
Absolutely not.
No. So it's just too many points, though, for this team. And Detroit's a team that will fight. More than anything, Dan Campbell's cost them maybe another win or two, just the way he.
Well, I pointed that out right away, right? I mean,
you did, yeah.
I was like, this guy is just making great decision after great decision.
He's a good coach to get his. He seems to be a good coach to get his guys motivated and stuff like that. Yeah. But in game, he needs a little bit of help. But a lot of these guys do.
I think a little might be an understatement.
Yeah. Too many points. I'm just going to pass.
If this game comes down to 12, Sean, believe it or not, Arizona's a take. But at 12.5, they're not, which kind of surprises me. And the way the line's moving, it started at 13. And if it comes down to 12, I will actually take Arizona. But as it stands right now, I cannot take Arizona because I want to be very strict in the last few weeks of the season. But you got to feel like Arizona, Sean, after last week, right? Which is a debacle for them against the Rams. Now they're playing a team that they know they have to beat. They're going to beat. And, they still are playing for that one bye at the top of the one team that gets a bye. So if there's any team that's going to be highly motivated to bounce back, to make a statement, as Sean puts it,
it doesn't
be Arizona is we want to make a statement team of the week.
It doesn't make sense that, like you said, when you get pressure on Murray, he struggles. He should be able to run right out of it. They bring pressure.
I think here's why I think he struggles, Sean. Because he's a smaller guy, right? So when someone's putting pressure on the guy, I think it infringes his line of sight, right? And it also infringes his throwing lanes, right?
Yeah. And
because now he doesn't have the same throwing lane where he can just step and throw. Now he's running. He's got a bigger dude coming at him. And because of that, I feel like it maybe changes his trajectory. Or if you remember too early on, and I think too, somewhere in the back of his mind, he knows he's smaller than everybody else, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's not even in the back of his mind. I would think that inside there somewhere, there is also a reluctancy to get hit.
Maybe, because that's what I was going to say. He must be one of these guys. He seems to delay to run. Instead of just getting out of there and running, he's running, looking for the receiver, and then his running lane is gone. So he must be one of these guys too that he gets tired of hearing that he's a running quarterback, and he just.
I don't think that's what it is. I think he does. I think he's seen the likes of Robert Griffin, right? I think he's looked at Lamar Jackson, and he looks at these guys that Dak Prescott. I mean, there's only been a handful of guys that have really been runners, or at least that's a big part of their game, or a significant part of their game, that make it through. I mean, how many quarterbacks can you think of where when you said that guy is equally proficient running the ball as he is throwing the ball, or maybe even be better running than the ball. How many of those guys have 14, 15-year careers?
Not many.
Not many, if any, right? I mean, Roger Staubach, maybe Steve Young, maybe, Randall Cunningham, maybe.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I can't think of very many that ran the ball a lot that had an extended career. I mean, Tom Brady can't hardly run at all. The guy's been around forever.
Nobody's your best fourth down and inches quarterback.
Ever. Yes, indeed. So I think that's really what I think. I think it's not that he doesn't want to run. So I think he just wants to extend his career and realizes that his size at 5'9", let's give him a benefit of the doubt. He's 5'11", which he's not 5'11". I think he's 5'9", maybe, probably 175 pounds. Some 6'3" dude that weighs 230 comes at him just as fast as he is. And it's just physics, right? Bigger, stronger, and both running at the same speed. The heavier object is going to inflict the blow. He's going to absorb all of the damage all of the time. And I think he understands that and just doesn't want to get hit.
And I'll say something else. When you watch Arizona and you watch Murray, he's very animated. When things start going wrong, he starts pointing the finger. He starts getting very frustrated. I think that plays a lot into how he plays tee. You could see that on Monday. He'd get frustrated and things would just go south. So he's got to start keeping his composure.
Maybe you should move to Colorado where 420 is legal. All right. So neither one of us are taking the game. The total in that game, Sean, might be illegal in Arizona. I don't even know. 47.5, Sean. Or how do you have him? How do you see him scoring?
I'm going to leave this one go again. Just not knowing how these two teams perform. That's a little high. Especially with Murray struggling, Arizona's offense struggling a little bit.
Stupid soccer tie, Sean. I got him coming in at 47.
There you go.
Yeah, so I would just leave that one alone, baby. Atlanta against San Francisco, a team that absolutely needs a win. Both teams need a win, right? They're both with this new playoff.
Atlanta's a quiet 6-7 and still alive in this playoff chase.
A quiet 6-7.
Well, they're right there.
All sorts of Seanisms tonight.
Well, it is a quiet 6-7. Who actually out there thinks Atlanta's still alive for the playoffs? And
they may be alive for the playoffs, but I don't know that quiet 6-7. I mean, 7-6 might borderline quiet, but a losing record.
Well, okay. I'm just saying. Okay, Atlanta's quietly sitting there right in a wild.
Maybe you could say they're quietly a playoff contender.
Well, I don't know, but they're sitting there, but I don't know how much of a contender they are.
All right. Well, they're a contender to make the playoffs.
And this is the Kyle Pitts versus George Kittle show, is what this is going to be.
Well, that won't be close.
No,
I've had Pitts on my team all year. He was supposed to be like Tony Gonzalez. He's like a experiment where they take a bat virus and they stick it with a. Oh no, that was something else. He's a tight end experiment where it was supposed to be Tony Gonzalez with Kellen Winslow, with Travis Kelce, with and on and on and on, Waller, and he hasn't turned out to be that guy.
Yeah, and Kittle has been on fire the last few weeks. So
yes, indeed, I'm playing against him this week, so I hope Garoppolo throws the ball at Ayuk.
Yeah, so I like San Francisco here, and I'll give up the points. I think they go up and down the field.
You're going to give up 9.5, Sean, for -110.
Yeah, I just think their offense is really rolling right now with Kittle and Garoppolo. And Atlanta, their offense is all right, but they sometimes they move the ball.
But I do think Atlanta's pass defense is susceptible, and that's the one thing that card. This is another game. I think it's a 7-point game, so I feel like Atlanta's going to cover. But if you ask me, okay, two teams, which one could win by 14 or more? I mean, that's a clear-cut answer. It's San Francisco,
right?
Especially with Matt Ryan. I mean, that dude throws a ton of interceptions. They're on the grass. Who knows? Maybe it's raining out there. I know it rained a lot last week. So if it's a little bit sloggy out there, maybe he'll struggle. The total in that game, Sean, is 46.5. I don't think I have a play in that game, and I don't think you're going to double dip in that one.
No, I'm not going to double dip. Probably lean towards the over, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I have them coming in at 49, so slightly over. Next up, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Denver Broncos, as we mentioned earlier on in the show. Most of the tickets, in fact, 75% of the tickets almost are on the Bengals, but 65 cents. So 2/3 of the money is on Sean's favorite team, the Denver Broncos, the Teddy Bridgewater. I never fail to cover Broncos.
Yeah, this is a tough game for me because both of these teams, it seems, now Denver's I had some luck with and then some bad luck with. Cincinnati the last few weeks, I've been backing them. And they just.
So this is the week if Sean's not going to back them, folks.
I'm not going to back either.
I'm going to suggest that you back up the Brinks truck and load it up on the Bengals because Sean's finally jumped off that bandwagon. And whenever he jumps off the bandwagon,
that team shows back up.
It becomes not a loser. It's a lock.
Yeah, probably. I went back and forth on this game, and when you're going back and forth that much, you can't play it. So I'm passing.
Yeah, I have actually Cincinnati covering by 2. So this would have been the week for you to play him, Sean. As far as the total is concerned, it's 44, Sean. They're going to score 47.
Possibly. I think this is another one. I mean, your lines, like you said, are right there. This is right there, too. It could go either way.
Yeah, I think it can go either way, too. So I'm not going to play it because sometimes the Broncos offense doesn't show up and sometimes the Bengals offense doesn't show up. And if they both don't show up, the game can't go over. This is a game that's going to be determined, I think, a lot, Sean, by what happens with Lamar. Does he play? Doesn't he play? Green Bay is favored by a lot of points in Baltimore.
Touchdown.
Yeah. Right, 6.5 to 7. I mean, this is a team, the Ravens, a couple of weeks ago when they beat Kansas City, everybody was saying Lamar MVP, Baltimore Ravens, they're going to make the Super Bowl. Now everybody's saying, oof, this Ravens team is bad.
Yeah, and I think I've said that pretty much since we started the year that Baltimore was overrated. Now, I will say this is too many points, and
I think that's just your dislike for Lamar.
Well, no, he's just showing.
You dislike him. He's a good kid. I think he's exciting. He never gets in trouble. He's a good kid. I think he just can't play quarterback. I mean, the thing about him is he's inaccurate. He can play quarterback. I think he actually knows where the ball's supposed to go, but he's just inaccurate.
I don't dislike him, and I think he's a great He's a great regular season flash quarterback. But when you get him in playoff type games and in the playoffs, he can't win those games. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do the opposite here. So I'm going to take Baltimore plus the touchdown. I think this is too many points, and I'm fine if Brett Hundley plays because he has played fine this year.
So you're going to get that at minus. You can get 6.5 for minus 110 or 7 for 113. Here's the thing. Here's the thing I worry about, Sean.
I'll take the 7, by the way.
I was going to take Baltimore too, but I'm actually going to pass. And I'm going to pass because I felt like, and it didn't work out this way, but there was a point in that game where I felt like the Baltimore defense gave up. And I'm afraid that if Green Bay gets up on them, and they have a chance to get up on them, I'm afraid that same side of the team is going to come out again. It just looked to me like they hung their heads and said, that's it, we're done. And unlike Baker Mayfield, I don't feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to let up or make the sort of mistakes that Baker Mayfield can make that allow a team like Baltimore to get back in the game with their backup quarterback. So that's what concerns me. I do have Baltimore covering this spot, but I'm actually going to play away from it, Sean, and sit on the sidelines.
Is it sad? I almost feel more confident with the +7 with Hundley than if this line comes down and Jackson plays. Because if Jackson plays, it's probably a 4-point spread.
I think probably
a 4.
I think it's probably 2-3 points. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually feel better taking Baltimore +7 with Hundley than I do only getting 3 with Jackson.
I don't. We've been down this road before with Mike White, and I'm telling you, there's a reason why Lamar starts and he doesn't.
Well, Hundley's a young kid, so he hasn't gotten a chance to prove himself yet. So you can't really go that way. Mike White had some shots, so
and he was the next big thing.
So I get Baltimore +7 either way, right?
Yeah, you can take Baltimore +7. It's minus 113 for you.
Yeah.
The game, Sean, is 43.5 is the total. I have them scoring 46.
Yeah, now this one, a strong, heavier lean on the over because even if Jackson don't play, Hundley's going to move the ball. So and Green Bay's going to put up points. So I would lean over.
I would lean over too, Sean, even though I do have the game coming in on the over side. But like I said, I really feel like when I was just watching that game, it just looked to me like the Baltimore defense just gave up. And then they kind of got back in the game a little bit, so it lifted their spirits and they got engaged again. But I just don't know that Aaron Rodgers is going to, like I said, be like Baker Mayfield. And when he gets the foot on the throat, he's not going to let it up. Green Bay and Baltimore is the last game. So then you got New Orleans and Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers are a huge favorite in this game. They're an 11-point favorite, Sean, which seems to me as bad as New Orleans has been. 11 points seems like a lot.
It is. But Saints have been struggling with Hill at quarterback. Jets kind of cured that last week, but that was
they cure that for everybody.
Yes, exactly. So you can toss that game.
They're like the penicillin of the NFL.
Sean Payton's going to be out. He'll have his imprint
I don't know
anyway.
what that does. But
yeah. So here's the thing, too.
Didn't he miss already a game this year because of COVID?
I think that was last year.
Last
year, he was the first one in April of last year. He was the first.
How does that work?
So he's got it twice.
How does that? I mean, that's not supposed to happen.
Well, it's a different strand. It's
Yeah, but I don't know.
I don't know. So the thing is, Brady usually has been struggling. I know he won one a few weeks ago. He's been struggling on these primetime games, and he struggled against the Saints. I mean, remember last year he got completely blown out again.
Yeah, they said he should retire after that game.
Yeah, so giving up this many points, and also Tampa Bay, they score a lot, but they give up points.
But what if you got to run Ronald Jones in his 1 yard in a cloud of dust? It's not even 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
That's the other thing. If Fournette's out, that's a whole nother problem. So it's too many points to give up. Tampa wins the game, but too many points to give up. That's all,
You're not but you're not going to do it.
No, I'm not going to do it. I will say, you got all these big favorites this week, and I have a hard time figuring out which underdog's going to win, but we know probably one of them's going to.
Well, I think they may not win, Sean, but one or two, maybe three of them will all cover. I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints here, Sean. I said I usually don't like to go with the one team wins and the other team covers, but there's this line. It looks to me like it should be closer to 6 or 7, not 11. So I have almost double what I need to take the New Orleans.
This is just showing
they're going to lose. I mean, win. It just seems to me that 11 points is too many for a team that can play defense in a game, conference game between two teams that always seem to play close games.
You're just showing Taysom Hill some love for that last-second touchdown run yesterday.
I completely forgot about it, Sean. My old timers, I'm like, what are you talking about? But anyway, now that I know. Yeah. So, I'm going to take the Saints. I'm going to take the 11, Sean, for minus 110. To me, that's way too many points. And this game is going to go 45.5 is the total. I could double dip on this game. So I was thinking to myself, which side do I want to go on? Do I want to go on the Saints or do I want to go on the over? I don't know, Sean, which 45.5. So they're favored by 6. That means Tampa Bay is 22.5, 22.75. Tampa Bay is 25.5. Is that right?
I will tell you in a minute. Tampa Bay is, they don't have it listed. Well, here we go. They are, wow. They don't want to list it. 28.5 for
28.5? That line makes no sense.
And the Saints are 16.5.
Ooh, I don't buy that at all. I think the Saints will score more than 16 points, but I'm not going to take either side of that. If I were going to make a play there, I would take the Saints scoring more than 16 points, Sean. Absolutely. I can see Brady throwing a pick 6 in that game too.
Yeah, possible.
A couple of interceptions close to the end zone lately. I mean, they're not Arias. It's not afraid to throw the ball. The 1 yard line is on 1 yard line.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Mm-hmm. So that wraps up the games until Monday, Sean. So we'll have 2 more games on Monday to talk about. Another game on Tuesday to talk about.
2 games on Tuesday.
2 games. Apparently, yes. Seattle's apparently pretty upset about all that, but we'll find out what that means on Tuesday.
The Eagles were upset too. Everybody that doesn't have the COVID things are upset because they feel like they're following protocols and the other team didn't, but they probably did. They just got it. I don't
really think it's a protocol thing, Sean.
Yeah, I know. They just got it. I mean,
it's the Omicron. Omicron.
The only
it's
issue
supposed to be a little bit more contagious than the other ones, but it's also, it seems to me like every player who gets it's back in a week.
The issue the NFL's running into is you played it one way all year where you weren't postponing games. You were making teams play the game early in the year. You said you were now forfeit the games. Now we're setting a
What
standard.
did I tell you early in the year?
What?
I told you when they said that, I said, there's no way in the hell
Oh, yeah.
that they're going to make these billionaire owners forfeit a game. It's just not going to happen.
Well, and I will say, and I thought of this earlier today.
I mean, if it was Jacksonville and Houston, yeah, they're going to forfeit that one. But they're not going to forfeit any of these games that have
they're
any
not even
meaning.
going to do that, because even if you put that on a Monday night or Tuesday night, guess what? People are still watching. It's the same on why you have 44 bowl games or whatever.
This is your mind. This is your mind on drugs. Houston and Jacksonville.
I will say, though, the NFL is smart about it. And I know everybody says they're money hungry. Sure, but they're smart about it on the fact that they're not postponing games.
Let me ask you a question, Sean. Money hungry. Let's go back to money hungry.
Okay.
You mean to tell me there's not any poor bastards out there, ourselves included, that if you came up to us and said, here's $1 billion, we wouldn't want it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You think that the most communist of socialists, if someone offered them $1 billion, wouldn't take it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
So I'm just saying what people. So my point is, NASCAR race gets postponed on a Sunday. They make it Monday at 1:00 while everybody's at work. Yeah, what football didn't do? They didn't go, you know what? We're going to schedule these games at 1, 2 o'clock on Monday or Tuesday to get them. I mean, Cleveland faces now. Cleveland's Monday night, 5, 6 o'clock. And then they got to play Saturday. They got to play on Christmas. So they have a real short week there. So
that could work to their favor and to work to their detriment, right?
And then you got 2 teams playing on Tuesday that are going to play on Sunday too. So
yeah, but I mean, that can work to your benefit or not, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you win those 2 games, then you get a nice break afterwards.
Yeah. Well, you get
the same break everybody else has.
Yeah. You get the normal.
You still feel like you got a lot accomplished in a short time, though. I think if you win 2 games in that short window like that, you feel like you got a lot of momentum.
Right.
If you lose 2 games like that, you're going to be bitching
done.
about it.
You're done. Yeah. It's just what we talk about all the time. Everybody talks about. The NFL is really smart with that, with the marketing, everything else. It's right, like baseball's in the off season. Now you got the lockout, but even if you didn't have the lockout, nobody'd be talking about baseball. What do people do in football? They still talk about football in the off season because they do the free agency, the draft. They do everything timely. They do everything to keep themselves in the news.
And the players do a good job of keeping themselves in the news.
Well, that part they need to work on, but it's not an NFL thing. It's society and it's everything.
I know, Sean, it's a joke, but not really. All right, Sean. Any other thing before we get up and out of here?
No, I think I put all my thoughts out there tonight.
Yes, indeed, you did, Sean. So, quick recap. Nelson Aguilar is the fastest, most feared wide receiver in the NFL.
That's not what I said.
Unquestionably. I forget what was the other Seanism. There was too many of them for me to remember. That one I couldn't forget.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So if you like what you saw tonight, Sean made you laugh, I made you laugh, or you want to throw something at both of us, that's fine too. Let us know about it at Moneyline Madmen on Twitter or Facebook, or you can also hit us up at the website, moneylinemadman.com. Any final shot? Oh, Sean, just recap your picks real quick.
All right, so I got the Colts in tomorrow night's game, giving up 2.5 to New England. Miami giving up 9.5 to my Jets. Tennessee, Pittsburgh under 43. San Francisco giving up 9.5 to Atlanta, and Baltimore +7 against Green Bay. And I feel better about that if Hundley plays in Jackson. Well, actually, no, I don't. I lie. If the line moved and it's +3 or +4, I'd feel better about the +7 with Hundley.
Of course. I'm going to take New England on the opposite side of that game from Sean tomorrow night. Go Patriots. Tennessee +1.5. They should beat Pittsburgh. And then New Orleans +11. It's way too many points for New Orleans in a conference game, so they'll get beat by about 30. Those are my 3 picks for tonight. I could have also taken the over in the New Orleans-Tampa Bay game, but I don't double dip. We'll be back on Monday to talk about the Monday games. We'll be back on Tuesday to talk about the Tuesday games. Till then, folks, hopefully every single NFL game you pick is a winner and stuffs your pocket full of Carl Broberg cash. See you Monday at 5:30 Eastern time, Sean?
Correct.
All right. See you then.